Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. Coming up in today's show, a world-class artist crowned best in the world. Craig Tracy is as passionate about his art as he is his city of New Orleans.
Finding this spot on Royal Street was like a dream, but it was because of Hurricane Katrina, and we're living through a disaster, but what a beautiful location to have a gallery. I am a lucky man.
And you never left, and you never considered not
I
coming back.
never want to leave. This is my home, this is my city.
The art he's creating in this city with his body painting is mind-blowing. See where he finds his inspiration and find out about the next cutting-edge art he's working on now. Then Dr. Nick discusses divorce. It's something we're all touched by directly or indirectly.
I've seen more resurrections post-divorce than you can imagine.
He lets us know how to keep a failed marriage from ripping us into pieces. But first, meet a man as riveting, engaging, and as extraordinary as his art. Here, art and body embody each other. Artist Craig Tracy has taken the art of body painting to new heights and put it on the map. Here on Royal Street 11 years ago, the New Orleans native opened the world's first fine art body painting gallery.
Having the gallery here in the quarter has been a dream come true. I am surrounded by some really amazing antiques. You know, we have some of the best antiques in the United States here on Royal Street. And we also have some very touristy type galleries where everything's a guy playing trumpet, you know, or a crooked house, or maybe a blue dog. But ultimately, I wanted to bring something that was more contemporary and more global.
His art is loved and sold around the world. Craig's been an artist since childhood, but he didn't put paint on people until the early 90s.
It was something for a prank, and I painted a woman, I painted her bosom, let's say. It then was photographed in front of the police station. So it was kind of just a fun, crazy thing to do in my early 20s.
It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet.
I had no idea back then in the early 90s that I would become what I've become. I kept searching as an artist throughout my 20s and early 30s for an art form that I could feel passionate about and that I could also help pioneer. I was painting some folks for Mardi Gras and for Halloween. And in doing that, at some point realized, if I take this seriously, there's room to grow.
He grew into one of the world's best.
I created my first series of body paintings. This was around 2002. Created my first website. Then everything goes crazy. I start getting millions of hits and things start going viral. And that was before social media was really much of a thing. That was way before Facebook was a real substantial part of our lives.
Then in 2005, he entered the World Body Painting Festival in Austria and won. The next year, he judged it and began traveling the world.
I wound up judging the World Body Painting Festival 2006, and I've judged the festival for I think something like 10 times or so. But then I've gone on to other countries. South Korea has a large body painting festival. There are also body painting festivals all throughout Europe, and there's a North American body painting festival that's really big, and that happens here in the United States.
Yet the art of body painting didn't emerge in the U.S. until the 1960s. Some feel our country's Puritan heritage delayed its acceptance. However, it's one of the oldest art forms in the world, dating back thousands of years. But the year 1992 brought it to the forefront of American culture when this Vogue cover, featuring Demi Moore in only her painted-on birthday suit, splashed across newsstands.
That created a stir back in 1992.
6 years later, Sports Illustrated began painting swimsuits on their models. It's done so every year since. So Craig's art doesn't shock visitors to his gallery, but there's a lot of awe. What do people say when they come in?
They say, wow. When people realize what they're looking at with my work, they go, wow.
These are limited edition fine art photographs of Craig's work. He can transform the human body into virtually anything. An elephant, a tiger, a lily, a beach wave, a New Orleans streetcar, even diamonds. His camouflage art also astounds the eye. Finding the person amidst the art is mind-bending. Seeing his work in action, in real time, is even more astounding. But until this year, his most challenging work of art was this commercial for Fiat.
Fiat wanted me to create a car out of human bodies, and I was able to put that together, and it was 16 bodies. It was the hardest thing I had ever done. It was amazing.
Craig thrives on challenge and change.
As an artist, I didn't want to paint the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. I am too young a man to repeat myself for money, and it's not who I am as an artist. I'm about beauty, mystery, and creativity. And so I wanted those elements for the rest of my life. So I use a different body for each painting.
Oh, that's fun.
So the work that you see here in my gallery, each one of them is a different body. And I also don't work with a particular style or technique. So I allow my work to be varied. So the people that collect my work aren't looking at the same thing over and over and over again. So one time I'm working black and white, one time I'm working in color. One time I'm working realistic, the next time I'm working impressionistic. And in some cases, I've been able to develop things that I had never seen before.
How do you pick your models?
I love curves. I try and find a model whose body suits the design or that inspires a design. And curves are my favorite thing in the world.
Is it hard to find a woman who's going to get naked and let you paint her?
It's been unbelievably easy.
Really?
Yeah, instead of me looking for models, models find me every day. I get about 3 people a day on average that want a model for me without me ever soliciting.
Male models pursue Craig too, including one of body painting's best, Sean Jones.
Sean would travel and seek out body painting artists to paint him because he wanted to take his physique and his modeling skills to another level, and I was able to bring something there.
Hollywood came calling too. Craig was tapped to help create Skin Wars, television's first body painting competition show. Producers then cast Craig as one of its 3 judges, along with another Louisiana native, RuPaul.
I have one thing to say. You better work.
Did you think you would ever have this kind of success?
I didn't think that I would work with RuPaul and Rebecca Romaine. Not in that capacity. I thought,
didn't know you'd be a TV star, right?
I did not know that it would go to that level, and I'm so happy that it did.
In 3 seasons, the show averaged more than 1 million viewers, making it the network's most popular show. But when Netflix picked it up, viewership skyrocketed.
You want to be here? Then get
Once we got onto Netflix, things went crazy. So we've been on Netflix for the last 5 months. I think our viewership went well over 100 million people. And that's just in the United States. It's also seen globally. I've actually seen my own voice dubbed in Italian.
Gordon Levitt vient d'ajouter une ligne à son long.
It's a cultural phenomenon. Fans around the world now stop by Craig's gallery. Some so excited, they burst into tears.
I meet Skin Wars fans every day, multiple times a day. I know the impact of the show, and it is an amazing situation. What Skin Wars is doing, more important than anything, is it's inspiring young artists. Artists that are 10 years old right now are going to create some amazing body painting work in their 20s, and I'm excited to see it.
2 South Louisiana artists, ranked among the world's top 15, competed on Skin Wars. Angela Roberts in Season 1 and Brittany Peliquin in Season 3. Brittany made it to the finals.
The fact that she made it all the way through the finals was amazing. And I knew she had the talent. That wasn't a question. But would she crack under pressure? And she never did.
Both women, he says, exemplify the creativity, strength, and ingenuity rooted in Louisiana.
We are a cultural dynamo. We're from the ground up. You know, a lot of places attract, like New York attracts a lot of artists. We do as well, but a lot of our artists are from the ground up. You know, locals that have done things that are spectacular.
Craig's latest collection celebrates local locations. Just released in September, the 17-piece series is entitled Al Fresco, French Quarter.
I never had worked in a situation like this with architecture, and I didn't want people to think that I was creating like touristy art. So I waited till my gallery was 10 years old, and then I said, I'm doing it. So it's my city, my neighborhood, my birthplace, my art form, and then you notice the little pink bunny?
Tell me.
That represents my family, it's my daughter. Oh. So I just wanted to tie as much together as I could. And these are all within 5 blocks of us right now.
Craig paints not just with his hands, but equally with his brain.
You get all your ideas.
That's my job. That's my job.
Do you ever get stuck like, oh, I just don't know what I'm gonna do with this?
I have had moments where I'm like, ugh, come on, I need it. But I'm usually able to figure a way, and it usually happens within 24 to 48 hours of trying to find a way to make something special.
Is it a walk down the quarter? Is it listening to great music? Is it just having a good dinner?
I've been inspired by men's tie designs, women's purse designs, dress patterns. I've been inspired by the shape of the body. Nature is my #1 influence. And then it can be things like jazz music, or it can be things like food. You know, like anything can work its way, because I don't limit myself like a lot of artists that drive me crazy. You know, they just do the same thing over and over and over again. I don't want that. I don't want to be limited in any way, shape, or form.
What he's painting now is his biggest project yet, 15 years in the making.
Can you tell me about this?
I cannot tell you about this, but it will be revealed next year. It is a project that is something I've dreamed about, and I think will delight people when it's released.
Art, he says, is for everyone, not only the elite. So some smaller prints start at $85. Others along these walls go for as much as $20,000.
I do create work for people that have plenty of money, but I also create work for people that don't. I want college students to be able to afford my work. I want anyone that loves my work to be able to afford my work. I don't think every gallery does that. I try and offer smaller pieces in bigger editions, so that someone with enough money to buy a fancy pair of tennis shoes can buy a piece of my work.
Work that captures body and soul.
I like people. I like them a lot, so I paint on them.
Craig invites all of you to stop by and see him at his gallery on Royal Street, or you can check out more of his work on his website, craigtracy.com. And still to come, Dr. Nick shows us how divorce doesn't have to lead to destruction, how to better navigate the landmines of a marriage ending, as Weekends with Whitney continues.
See that angry soccer mom over there? Giving the referee 2 earfuls? Well, I'm the human dislike button, and I see it too.
Ship Rule Section 2, Part 1B. If a team does not display quality sportsmanship during the regular season, they may be barred from future sports opportunities.
Gotta remember, even though they make convincing canaries, referees are people too. It's important to keep your cool and use sportsmanship in every situation. I'm the human dislike button, but one thing I do like is following the rules. To learn more about me, go to breck.org/HDB.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious Buick GMC Mark of Excellence Award. It will happen to 50% of everyone we know. Divorce. It can be crushing, it can be devastating, and in some instances, it can be liberating. But Dr. Nick joins us this morning with more. It's not just the couple going through the divorce, it's everyone around them, right?
Everyone.
Extended families, co-workers, children, it is, and you deal with it a lot, which is why we decided to bring this topic up.
I do. I deal a lot with couples going through it. I deal a lot with couples who are struggling and discerning whether they can stay. I deal a lot with people who are going through it and just trying to help them understand the most important thing about divorce is your entire world is shattered. The whole world is shattered. Everything around you has now died.
That's
and it's
tragic.
It's a brutal form of betrayal, especially when it's unexpected. Now, when you're struggling for 2 to 3 years and you divorce, yes, your world crumbles, but it's different than when you think everything is fine, and the husband says, "I don't love you anymore," or "I want a divorce," or the wife says,
"Sure,"
which is a pretty good strong percentage of that too. I don't know what the numbers are, but I do know it happens, and that's the real nuclear option, if you will.
Yeah,
it's pushing the button.
You've dealt with patients like that before. How do you say to how do you help put the pieces back together for someone who has just been shocked and shattered by divorce? Because I think those are the people who don't want to get out of bed and who cry incessantly and who just, what do you do?
Well, you almost have to do 2 things at one time, and I hope that there are people going through it listening. There must be the pain. You must.
Oh, they know there's pain.
Well, but we want to avoid it. We want to take something, or we want to see, okay, how long will it last, or what can I do to get out of it? Well, there's really nothing you can do to get out of it. You have to hurt.
You can't drink it away. You can't sleep it away.
You can't drug it away. You can't sleep it. You can't. I'm not anti-medication for people who can't stop crying. I mean, and might need a little help with cutting it, but there must be the pain. This is truly death. This is death, and in many ways, it's worse than death because you know the other person is alive,
and sometimes very well. And happy.
And maybe happy.
And you're miserable.
Yeah, but again, we don't know that.
Sure.
The divorced person experiences that as that way and perceives it as that way, but I'm not so sure about it. But I think there's something else that's going on, Whitney, and I have to be very careful with this because I'm not anti-religion. I get very concerned with the way religion sometimes treats divorce.
Really?
Christianity. Yeah.
Tell me how.
It's a second class. It's second class. It's are you getting an annulment? It's like that's the first thing. That's not anywhere near priority for people who are going through a divorce. They're already feeling shamed enough.
Right.
They're already feeling poor enough. Let's not keep building on it. People who are going through divorce need a safe place to go, and churches you would think would be the safest. But part of the problem is you've gone to that church together. So now what do you do?
Right.
But we're talking about, again, a loss of one's world. And don't you feel sometimes, don't you hear sometimes people, well, I'm divorced, so I just don't know where I stand with the church and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you got much bigger fish to fry than to be worrying about, what an autocratic society might be thinking of you. Because there are a lot of couples in those pews that beat each other all the time, and I don't think that that's very loving.
Right.
And pardon me, I'm not, again, I know this world.
Right.
I really hurt for people. You know people who've gone through it.
Oh.
All we can do is say you're going to hurt. But here's the other side of it real quick. I was saying that it's almost contradictory. In the midst of the world shattering, what you have to do is rebuild a world. You have to start over.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part. You got to go buy the plant and water it and say it will live. You got to maybe redo whatever you can with whatever limited resources you have. And I think, again, I don't want to knock attorneys either. This is not my style. You want a civil divorce. You don't want it to be a war.
And
too often it is a war. And there are too many people in the legal world who somehow maybe can get caught up in thinking that they're your advocate, but not understanding that real advocacy is trying to make this as civil and as fair as possible without any emotional, I'm going to get you back.
Right. And that comes from pain.
That's hard.
Which is what we've talked about.
Of course it does.
Sometimes it's not really that, they're hurt and they're angry, but they're in pain, and they want you to feel that pain, right?
Yes, revenge is such a strong emotion when there's that kind of divorce or a third party or whatever.
I saw recently where people are really trying to get divorcing or divorced couples to come together for the welfare of the children, that we know the scars and the pain that it does with children. You could go back generations and look to people, and it was devastating for them.
Yes.
And can people look in the best interest of the children to try to be more civil? Or
I think they not only
can.
I think they not only can, but I think that there's a moral obligation to do that. See, that's where divorce, especially if there's children involved, we have to move beyond our sense of betrayal and revenge to think about what's in the best welfare of the children. To constantly berate the former wife or the former husband in front of the children. Right. That's their mother. And that's their father.
And then they internalize it because that's part of them.
And they will internalize it, and then you can lead to parenting alienation, which gets us in a whole nother horrible bag of worms, because I can't stand that. Again, let's take the betrayal, take the revenge, take the pain, take every bit of it to heart, and say, yes, this is what I'm going through. Okay. But there's one last thing that we need be very careful of. Tell me. I'm not going to beat myself up.
Blame.
And blame myself as an idiot. How did I not know? Right?
Or
the self-hatred. And I'm not going to hate my partner because we were together for 20 years. We've got some good memories. It's not all bad. I wouldn't have chose him or her. Does that make sense? We can't just throw away those years. We have to say thank you for that. Not necessarily to the person, but to life. And then we're into that kind of reframe mold. The world's falling apart, but we're going to rebuild it, and we're going to rebuild it with good memories.
I see.
It's challenging. Yes. I know.
For some of my friends who've gone through it, the part that just broke my heart was they felt so unlovable. And there are only so many things, which brings me to a point.
Yes, well said.
Groups.
Wish we had more of them. I know there's.
Are they great for people going through a divorce?
They're great. I've led many divorce groups. Many divorce groups.
I remember one of our friends, Cindy. She said you saved her.
I've done many divorce groups because you're able to be with people and have cathartic experiences, but also hopefully have a facilitator that's going to try to move you beyond just let's sit here and the 8 of us talk about how horrible our ex-spouses were.
Right.
That won't get to us.
No.
That won't get us to another place. We have to go through, again, the darkness. And there is a certain ownership of what I did. Maybe. I may have been a part of it. I don't think I ever caused someone to go do something, but I think, we dance the dance, and so there's a facing of what role I may have played, but not a shaming. It's more of how do we pick it back up and reinvest. It's not only hard, but it's imperative. Mm-hmm. It's imperative, especially if there's children. It's imperative that life go on.
Right.
And by the way, if I just real quick.
Please.
I've seen more resurrections post-divorce than you can imagine. There is life beyond divorce. There is life beyond divorce.
Great, thanks.
And the world needs to hear it.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks so much, Dr. Nick.
Happy Sunday. And if anyone's struggling, get some help.
Yeah. More We Kids with Whitney after this. Atlas Foundation Repair. Fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for spending part of your day with us here on We Kids with Whitney. We hope to see you back here again next week when we focus our lens on a culinary icon. The incomparable Ella Brennan. How she elevated eating into entertainment. By defying the norm, she redefined American fine dining. A 60-year tradition her family proudly propels forward.
We sincerely are trying to be the best restaurant in America on any given night. I'm not saying we are, but that's what we're trying to be. Every now and then we hit it all right, but that's it. That's what we're trying to do,
She broke the glass ceiling in the culinary world early on.
Always commanding the table. See how Ella Brennan is now commanding the silver screen. That's next week, right here on WBRZ. Until then, we leave you with this.
It happened on one of them zippity-doo-dah days. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine heading my way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay.